in a world obsessed with happiness, meaning is perhaps a greater way to enact these positive psychological frameworks. And Emily Esfahani Smith has a book called The Power of Meaning, um, and it's really fantastic. So she talks about these four ways of developing meaning, which is a sense of belonging, again, our relationships, purpose, making an important contribution to the world, transcendence, really realizing that we can rise above some of the challenges and hustle and bustle and minutia of daily life, and storytelling, which is realizing that we are the narrators of our own story. I have an intervention, and we do two interventions with medical students, or actually three. One is understanding our ikigai. This is an oversimplification, and folks who really know this concept well say the Venn diagram doesn't make any sense. What you can be paid for is not part of the ancient concept, but it's really what you can be rewarded for. But the ikigai is at the center, which is really at the nexus of what we love, what the world needs, what we're good at, and something that we can perhaps integrate into a livelihood. And I think positive psychology often gets a bad reputation and because it's misunderstood as just be happy and just ignore the negative parts of the human existence and uplift all that is good and put the smiley face on. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. I think meaning is one of the best windows into building a life of purpose that is actually much more a focus of positive psychology. And it's one of, I think, the most resonant concepts for medical providers who are deeply inspired by a sense of meaning, but may actually be living their day-to-day lives quite disconnected from the meaning, and helping them to reconnect, and helping all of us just reconnect with why, what is my why? And how does what I do every day connect with my why? And maybe I have other identities that my role as a doctor conflicts with, such as being a parent or being a friend or a partner or a member of my synagogue or church. And how do I make shifts to align what I'm doing with the values that I hold so dear for myself? Emotions. So, like I said, these emerge when we feel that satisfaction of getting into the flow at work, perhaps, or use our character strengths, and that feels really good, or have an incredible relationship interaction with another person. We might feel connection and love. So positive emotions, it's really about embracing a mindset of positivity, experiencing affective states, feeling good. And we know that positive emotions broaden our attention, what we understand as what's possible. They help doctors come to better diagnostic decisions when we induce positivity before a clinical encounter. Positive emotions are really at the core of resilience, which is being able to hold tragic things that happen to us and adversity with the simultaneous ability to hold hope and gratitude. Barbara Fredrickson talks about the broaden and build model of positive emotions, that when we experience positive emotions, that leads to novel thoughts, activities, and relationships. That leads to enduring personal social resources, which in turn leads to advanced health, survival, and fulfillment, which leads to additional positive experiences. So there's this upward spiral of positive emotions. They literally broaden our attention. So just comparing negative emotions and positive emotions, again, I am not shunning negative emotions. They are incredibly important signals for us in our environment. We should honor them. We should embrace them. We should bring in our dark side. There's a whole practice in my forthcoming book to embrace our dark sides and really sit with our positive emotions and welcome them in and engage with them more deliberately. What's so interesting is negative emotions evolved with very specific what's called thought action tendencies, whereas positive emotions just broaden us in general and help us think about possibilities. Negative emotions are associated with specific actions. They're very specific and predictable pathways that negative emotions yield, so they narrow our attention rather than broadening our attention. They're critical for survival. And again, I'm going to mention the negativity bias. They're more salient because they mattered more for our survival. If our ancestors were sitting in, the savannah just gazing around laughing, we would have been eaten and starving. So the negative emotions matter. They're very important and salient for us. And notice I did not say but, they do lead to these downward spirals. They can lead to processes of rumination and depressed mood that end up putting us in like the fight or flight or even the freeze state, which is associated with suicidal ideation. And when we're frozen, our brains aren't working. So we have to be wary and learn how to integrate the negative emotions. It's the negative emotions that go unchecked that lead to psychopathology. So in summary, we evolved in our culture and practice to overvalue the negative, to use our red cape. Helping patients and doing the work that we do optimally requires that we use that reversible cape and that we do it for ourselves first. Well-being can be defined in many ways. I define it as the revamp, the relationships, engagement, vitality, accomplishment, meaning, and positive emotions. And nothing about what I said is a huge fundamental overhaul of something you did not know before. It's really about small shifts and a commitment to positive interventions to get us there.